Alright, my name's Emma Davenport, Emma Jane Davenport with a Y. I'm coming out here to speak about interstate insurance misconduct here that has left me homeless. I'm at my buddy's house right now. I've been couch hopping, just hotels, motels, whatever. Stress has drove me insane, man. I'm exhausted. So in May of 2024, there was a man who faked being a contractor. He caused a significant amount of damage to my home and my structural supports. I would believe this to at one point be intentional because he came back with a jackhammer after being fired and saying he was coming back just to clean up, already cleared out his tools, all that. And my roommates felt the whole house felt like it was going to shake, like it was going to come down. They were used to jackhammer stuff. They said the whole house felt like it was going to come down. Now, they heard him cussing, yelling. My boy heard him cussing, yelling. And basically he was mad because he got fired. He changed his receipts and then deleted the old invoices, and I caught him because the original receipt was sent April 20th. It was changed on April 26th, which is why I fired him by May, because when he came back and said, oh, from $6,000 to $6,500 to $50,000, I was like, bro, I ain't finna do that. So, fired him, came back with the jackhammer, more damage done, right? Even without that damage, this man faked who he was to commit a crime on my property. Meaning, this is third-party damage. It was uninvited. Falsifying who you are does not give legal consent. That revokes legal consent. My insurance company has gone from, they came to my house, which I'll make sure to post photos as well. They tried to say that it was natural damage. It very obviously was not natural damage. You saw jackhammer marks, dig marks, all sorts of stuff. Then they turned around, they asked me to pay for an engineer to prove that it was man-made damage. I did, and they used that engineer's report to say faulty contractor work. But I had already gone to the Maryland Maryland Home Improvement Administration and proved that he was a fake contractor. Because at first, I went to the MHIC thinking he a real contractor, right? Oh, they gonna handle this. Nah, they had already charged him with MHIC-based law, which was like faking being a contractor and stuff. The malicious destruction, nah. Because that ain't under their jurisdiction. So then, they wanted criminal charges. I said, great, MHIC already charged them, right? Turn around, and then they're like, oh, we need malicious intent. We're like, ain't it malicious enough that he faked who he was to commit a crime on my property and try and extort me for money? And they're like, yeah. And my buddy was on the phone. We were on speakerphone at the time. They knew he was on speakerphone. And they said, yeah, that would be covered. Never heard from that adjuster again. They switched adjusters. So then, second denial comes in. They omitted the engineer's report. The first time, because the engineer's report was in before the first denial. Second denial, they used it against me. Which, per their own terms, mind you, this is what's called an HMO3 policy. And to explain that in layman's terms that means open perils. It means anything that happens to my house, unless specifically excluded, is to be covered. I pay extra for that kind of coverage. This is not your typical homeowner's policy. So I go ahead. I'm fighting with the state thinking my homeowner's insurance is in good faith, right? I'm thinking, okay, so I go ahead and I filed correct charges. I had to fight with state to get them to drop the charges, to file the correct ones. State lost the charges because the ASAs, the assistant state's attorney, had quit and they didn't even know. So all that information went to her email and it was all the evidence went away. So then my mom's, she got sick in August. She was in hospice by end of December, and she had cancer that spread to her brain, metastasized lung cancer. And she kept asking why she couldn't come home. She thought she did something wrong. And the whole time, the house was not safe enough for me to invite our loved ones in to see her for the last moments. So now I got my little brother visiting my mom in hospice at Bayview Hospital right outside Cherry Hill, Baltimore, and he from Hartsville, South Carolina. Bumfuck nowhere. Country boy. Out in Cherry Hill, Baltimore, to say his final goodbyes to his mother. 15-year-old kid. I begged them, I showed them their own policy, where this was not right. They denied all terms. They denied me for my own policy rights. I went ahead, I wrote them a very formal email. I cannot directly email my adjuster because they use one-time emails. I did see from my old attorney emails that said charges would suffice. They got the charges, and then they switched goalposts again. They went from proof of man-made damage to proof of criminal intent, to proof of malicious intent, to proof of malicious charges. And now that they got the malicious charges for the third time over, because my public adjuster, my buddy who works in insurance, and my lawyer sent them, now they're saying they need a conviction, which criminal conviction, there is something called preponderance of evidence. Criminal convictions is beyond a reasonable doubt. Insurance law is based off of a preponderance of evidence. It's civil law. So, basing a claim, even though state regulators have already found him to be false, there's been enough evidence to charge this man that is more than a preponderance of evidence. And they still lie. The third denial didn't just omit the evidence. They straight lied on state investigators. They said that the man was licensed, which was not true. They knew that since May 9th, 2024. And I sat there, and I'm not gonna lie, after my mom's passed, because I begged them to do the right thing, because I wanted my mom's home for hospice, because she wanted to be there. I wanted that for my little brothers too. And it was ridiculous, man. They have goal shifted 5 times. They have asked for a legal goal shift post. They have lied on state investigators. They have denied me my own policy rights. And get this, Hippo is not even an insurance company. Spinnaker is. I'm currently suing Spinnaker. Hippo is basically subcontracted out to handle Spinnaker's stuff, to handle their claims. They have their own internal policy that I'm not allowed to, apparently. So even though I have signed documentation and a signed policy that they're violating, apparently there's some other policy that I'm not legally allowed to see. Now let me get down to the nitty-gritty on the law here. I had to take notes, excuse me, I ain't no lawyer. Alright. So, what Hippo and Spinnaker did wrong in plain English. My insurance company, Hippo/Spinnaker, did some shady stuff in Maryland that they had already been punished for in California. They've already been sanctioned. They are basically on insurance probation out in California. The summary of violations, they lied about my policy terms because they had me chasing a vandalism charge, when really it's an open perils policy, meaning anything is covered unless explicitly excluded. HMO 3, look it up. My policy covers sudden man-made damage. It covers criminal damage. It covers vandalism, which this constitutes vandalism under civil law, considering the fact that this man faked who he was to commit a crime on my property. He faked his credentials. They knew this from the get-go. I have all the emails, everything, sent back and forth from Hippo. They kept moving goalposts, which I already explained. That's insurance fraud. They ignored expert reports from MHIC and engineers. Oh, and then they used Donovan Engineering and BRC Investigations, which are both known to be insurer friendly and have been cited in other states to be and been sued for basically being coaxed by insurance companies to be insurer friendly. They're coaxed, whatever. They retaliated because I want to drop the claim. I'm now homeless because my house isn't even safe enough to be in. I even tried to get my own house condemned because I got close by neighbors. If this house falls down, it could fall down and hurt one of them. I stayed in my shed. Shed ended up a bust. I could not keep that thing cool enough for me and my animals. So now I'm couch hopping, homeless shelters, hotel rooms, you name it. They did this in California. This is why this is multi-state. This isn't just me, and now it's getting brought over to Maryland. In California, the insurance commissioner issued a sanction in 2024 for similar behavior. This included failing to supervise Hippo, unfair claim practices, and violating consumer protection laws, which Hippo has done. This is a sudden and accidental direct physical loss of my property by a third party. That's exactly what happens. Why this matters nationally is because Hippo's managing agent. They handle claims for Spinnaker, the company that underwrites the policy. Spinnaker is liable to. They let Hippo break the rules under their name. I'm speaking out because I begged them to fix this while my mom was in hospice. Instead, they lied. Now she's gone. My house is unsafe. I'm being pushed out. If they do this to me, they're going to do it to others. They already got sanctioned because a whole bunch of homeowners in California, and y'all can look this up, got screwed over because of this. People lost their properties because of this kind of behavior. Actually, my mortgage company partnered with Hippo. PennyMac partnered with Hippo. And now they refuse to give me any kind of relief while I'm dealing with all the legal fees to handle this. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's see, what other notes do we have? Oh, here we go. Excuse me. Misrepresentation of policy terms. In California, California State Insurance Code, subsection 790.03 ABH1. Maryland, MD Insurance Code, subsection 27303.124. The description: misleading claims, claim standards, denying based on invented conditions, like demanding criminal conviction when policy covers sudden and accidental loss. Failure to adopt or implement reasonable standards. California Code, subsection 790.03H3, and Maryland Insurance Code, subsection 27-3037 and subsection 27-3042. Delays, changing denial justifications multiple times, ignoring expert reports. They didn't just ignore them, they straight lied on them in the third policy. Lied on state experts and state officers and assistant state's attorneys. Let's see, what else do we got here? Unfair discrimination and retaliation. California Code subsection 790.3 or 03, F, subsection 790.03H and 13. Maryland Insurance Code subsection 27-3035, subsection 27-3046. Retaliating against policyholder after documents and delaying based on subjective judgments. Prove malice hurdles. Stuff like that. The hurdles kept changing every time I brought them evidence. Failure to promptly communicate. Blocking attorney access. Refusing timely answers. This violates subsection 790.03H25 in California, and in Maryland, subsection 27-3036 and subsection 27-304, 1. Blocking attorney access and refusing timely answers. Violates good faith communication laws. Now, on top of that, communications, they have random emails. One-line emails, one-time use emails. It's like EFJ17329, and then the next one will be DLCEF9283, and you can't respond back to these people. Unfair settlement practices, improper delegation to an MGA, which is HIPPO. HIPPO is the MGA to Spinnaker. So, plain and simple, what this is bad faith insurance, where they are systematically, they've already been proven in the state of California to have done this. You can look it up. I'll put under the description exactly where they got sanctioned in California. You can read it for yourself. You can see the photos of the damages. You can see the MHIC reports. You can see the charges. I'll put photos of me asking for my specific policy rights that per my policy I could have. What, y'all think it's funny? Alright. So, at the end of the day, I'm homeless. Other Marylanders can become homeless. This already happened and caused devastation in the state of California. Do we really want it here? And do we want it in other states? You want to go ahead and turn that shit off?
Yeah.